New at 10, he is one of the most successful businessmen Arizona has ever seen. His brash and edgy advertising strategy helped to get him worldwide attention and helped make him a billionaire.
12 News journalist Troy Hayden had the chance to sit down with GoDaddy founder Bob Parsons.
If there was a Mount Rushmore of Arizona business titans, GoDaddy founder Bob Parsons would no doubt be on it. He pulled himself out of a rough Baltimore neighborhood, fought in the jungles of Vietnam, then worked his way to founding one of the most iconic companies in our state's history. He tells his story in a new book called Fire in the Hole, and I was able to talk to him about his very eventful life.
I never borrowed any money, and I never had any partners. So that made a couple things real easy.
Outside of those couple of things, there hasn't been a whole lot that has come easy in Bob Parsons' life. His journey to becoming one of the most successful businessmen in our state's history has been filled with hard work, risk, and a little good fortune. From his early life to founding tech company GoDaddy, to becoming a billionaire, to starting golf's PXG, the 73-year-old Parsons reflects on his life in an autobiography released this year called Fire in the Hole. He grew up in a poor family in East Baltimore with a sometimes absent father and a mother who he says was likely suffering some sort of nervous breakdown.
She would take her head and start pounding it into the wall. And then she would then reach up and grab her hair and start pulling it out of her head in clumps. And then she'd look at me and she'd start making these noises like an animal, like, you know, ooh, ooh, ooh. I mean, she was in such pain.
Pain made worse by the family's financial struggles.
But I said, dear God, when I grow up, if I have a family, I promise you, they will always have what they need.
Parsons escaped his troubled upbringing at 17 by enlisting in the U.S. Marine Corps. He was sent to fight in the rice paddies of Vietnam. And he says hours before his first ambush patrol there, he had an epiphany.
When you start to worry about how you're going to survive, you know, it's a pretty dark moment. And, you know, I had think, an anxiety attack, a little one, you know, kind of hard to breathe, you know, that clammy. And then it occurred to me, you know, gradually that I was going to die there. And so I gave myself up for dead.
680.
And he came very close to dying while out on patrol not long after. He was severely injured by a mine and earned a Purple Heart. Parsons used the discipline he learned in the Marines to start several successful businesses. And the one that really put him on the map,
Yes, I'd like to be on a commercial.
GoDaddy. The company burst into the public consciousness because of a controversial commercial that Parsons helped dream up, and it captured the country's attention.
Is that you're upsetting the committee?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset the committee.
I did interviews for a week from morning to, you know, from sun up to sundown. The GoDaddy girl was on every possible show.
So you probably got more free publicity by far than the paid stuff.
About $15 million worth.
Danica Patrick.
GoDaddy's profile continued to rise after Parsons hired race car driver Danica Patrick for a series of commercials.
You're doggone right you would.
Parsons then sold just a portion of GoDaddy for over $2 billion. He didn't have to ever work again. But soon he took an interest in the golf business. When he asked then Ping golf club designer Mike Nicolette why golf clubs didn't seem to improve much year to year, Mike answered that he was hampered by cost restrictions and time.
And I said, do you think if you had as much time as you possibly had to design clubs and you know, you didn't have any, you know, you had money to spend where you need it, you didn't have no limitations there, that you could make a better club? He goes, I'd sure like to try.
Parsons hired Mike away from Ping and created PXG, a high-end golf and apparel company that's seen as a disruptor in the golf business, and it's growing in market share. The clubs are designed right here in the Valley, and Bob's wife, Renee Parsons, is the company's chief marketing officer. When I asked him what he thinks the key is to running a successful business, he told me, you have to love what you do. So you still love what you're doing?
Absolutely. I do. Now, are there days when, you know, maybe, you know, for whatever reason, you know, no good deed goes unthanked. You know, you have a few of those moments, you know, but you get past those in a little bit. So, you know, basically, anymore. I'm a happy guy.
Parsons and his wife Renee are also very active philanthropists. They say they donate an average of $1 million every other week to a variety of charities. Now, the story you just saw had to be edited down because of time constraints here on 12 News at 10. But if you want to watch the full version, including how Parsons almost gave up on GoDaddy before it went big, and the impact he thinks Danica Patrick had on the company and more, you can watch it right now on our 12 Plus app. Troy Hayden, 12 News.